Welcome back to #That. I'm Cat Splin.
And I'm Emma Dinnan. From Taylor Swift to Swarm, we're back with the latest entertainment news updates.
All that and more from Ham to Hollywood. We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Wayne Swinney, guitarist and last remaining original member of Memphis rock band Saliva, has died at the age of 59. The final member of the Memphis rock group suffered from a brain hemorrhage while on tour supporting the band's latest single, High on Me. Bobby Amaru, Saliva's frontman, since joining the band in 2011, wrote a statement saying, quote, "I'm not even sure what to think or how to feel right now. My heart aches for Wayne's family, his friends, and anyone who had the joy of being around him. My heart aches even more for his daughter, Nikki. He loved that little girl so much," end quote. Sweeney's last show was Monday night in Nashville at the Brooklyn Bowl before entering the ICU Tuesday. The status of the remaining shows on tour is still unknown.
After stealing the show in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and Creed 3, Jonathan Majors has been arrested this past weekend in New York City over allegations of assaulting a woman. According to police, she sustained slight head and neck injuries and was taken to a nearby hospital in a stable state. The NYPD has released a statement stating, on Saturday, March 25th, 2023, at approximately 11:14 hours, police responded to a 911 call inside of an apartment located in the vicinity of West 22nd Street and 8th Avenue. Within the confines of the 10 precincts, a preliminary investigation determined that a 33-year-old male was involved in a domestic dispute with a 30-year-old female. The victim informed police she was assaulted. Officers placed the 33-year-old male into custody without incident, end quote. However, there is already evidence providing his innocence, with Priya Chaudhry retelling Deadline. Jonathan Majors is completely innocent and is probably the victim of an altercation with a woman he knows. We are quickly gathering and presenting evidence to the district attorney with the expectation that all charges will be dropped immediately, end quote. Evidence includes video footage from the car where the incident occurred, eyewitness accounts from the driver and the others who witnessed the incident, and most importantly, 2 written statements from the woman retracting these claims. While it's not over till it's over, all charges are expected to be dropped.
In all of the recent drama between Hailey Bieber and Selena Gomez, things have finally gotten out of hand. Gomez took to social media Friday morning to confront fans about their treatment of Bieber. Gomez posted on her Instagram story saying, quote, "Hailey Bieber reached out to me and let me know that she has been receiving death threats and such hateful negativity. This isn't what I stand for. No one should have to experience hate or bullying. I've always advocated for kindness and really want all of this to stop," end quote. The feud has been ensuing for weeks now, as fans of Gomez have posted TikToks regarding Justin and Selena's ex-relationship. Throughout all the drama, Justin has still said nothing.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods finally hit theaters last weekend and is already failing. Despite audiences enjoying it, critics are very divided, with it sitting at 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. The movie is the DCEU's lowest opening weekend, earning $30 million domestically, which is lower than Morbius's $39 million, though everyone can agree this is a way better movie. Fans believe James Gunn's incoming reboot caused low interest. However, the first Shazam wasn't a massive hit to begin with. One thing that could have saved these movies would have been the inclusion of Shazam's most iconic villain, Black Adam. New details have come out on how The Rock's demands changed their plans, with Zachary Levi confirming all this on Instagram. Black Adam was supposed to be the main villain of Shazam, but The Rock demanded his debut to be in his solo film, making them go with Darth Savannah instead, drastically changing their plans. Zachary Levi was meant to cameo in Black Adam's credit scene, but The Rock fought for Henry Cavill instead, with the intent of having the main focus be Black Adam versus Superman. Several members of the Justice Society were planned to show up in Fury of the Gods credit scene, but when The Rock learned of this, he made sure it didn't happen. Love him or hate him, Dwayne's DC inclusion fueled his ego, and now his vision won't even come to fruition, with the Flash resetting everything.
This week, Quinnipiac's International Student Association had their annual Student Film Festival, and here with the inside scoop is Michael Rada.
Hey, I'm Michael, and I'm here at On the Rocks at the International Film Awards night, and I got the lucky chance to interview some of the people involved.
The International Film Award night was basically, the idea stemmed from celebrating international films everywhere and different films that have also been awarded internationally. Like recently, Everything Everywhere All at Once, the way it was awarded at the Oscars, and recognizing films from around the world, not just in the US. I think that was the goal of this, and we definitely delivered it.
I feel like it's important to have an event like this in order to highlight things such as international films. I am a big believer in learning about all types of cinema, not just Hollywood. Like, I like to say Hollywood is a sliver of the pie known as cinema, and Bollywood's like 50% of it, and then the other 40% is everything else. So I feel like it's just important to highlight, especially the cultural aspects of various international films, because it teaches you a lot more than just your average run-of-the-mill Hollywood film movie.
So international films all bring together different communities and bring the world closer to you than you actually think it is. I think that's the beauty of watching, say, a film made in Korea, or watching a French film. You're now learning about a culture. You're now learning about a different way of living, style of living, and their identity, what they do on a day-to-day basis, and how they interact with others. So I think that's what's really important, to learn that such different cultures exist, because not all of us can travel, and that's the beauty of film. It brings the world to you, and I think that's why it's important.
So it required a lot of planning, a lot of schematics, a lot of logistics, even down to just ordering the prizes alone. So it took a lot of planning, a lot of coordination, and especially collaboration. And I personally like to thank my entire e-board if they are watching this, because you guys are awesome. You killed it. All of us couldn't have done it without each and every one of you. So I'd like to thank you all for that.
That's all I have here. Back to you guys at the desk.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why? I'm high. Oh.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Donald Glover has produced the latest Amazon Prime original, Swarm. And here to talk more about it is Fiona Stevens.
Who's your favorite artist?
A simple question that will haunt you after watching Amazon Prime's latest original series, Swarm. What's up, hashtag? I'm Fiona Stevens, and I'm going to dive deep into the psychological thriller released by the creative minds of Janine Neighbors and Donald Glover, and how they artfully blur the lines between reality and horror.
You got a spare in the trunk.
No! You got a dead body in there or something?
The show follows Dre, an obsessed fan of the fictitious pop star Nyjah, and her journey brutally disposing of anyone that talks against her musical icon. A star-studded cast including Dominique Fishback as Dre, Chloe Bailey as Dre's deceased sister Marissa, and even Billie Eilish, who takes on the role of a cult leader. The show, with the exception of episode 6, was shot entirely on 16mm film and produced a gorgeous gritty feeling as the sound of insects buzzing grows, leaving viewers even more uncomfortable as they watch Dre commit murder and mayhem. What piqued my interest for the most about this show was the immediate and direct correlation between the show's pop star Nyjah and the queen bee herself, Beyonce. The show's episodes start with the same disclaimer card saying any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is intentional. From Nyjah's fans being called the Swarm and Beyonce's the Bayhive, to a series of social media clips celebrating the arrival of Nyjah's twin babies, much like Beyonce's in 2017, it is impossible to ignore. The Beyonce comparisons aren't where it stops. Jay-Z is modeled in Nyjah's husband Cache, from single promotion to even a violent encounter between Jay-Z and Solange in 2014. It's impressive the amount of references you can spot throughout the show. Showrunner Janine Neighbors and Donald Glover worked together on FX's Atlanta, which also tests the limits of surrealism with reality. Every murderous mission Dre embarks on has a real-life complement. Every episode deals with real-life news stories, real events, or internet rumors that have happened, and we've had to put our wonderful woman at the center of that story. In an interview with Vulture, Fishback said, "There are all these moments where you're on the edge of your seat and you're like, okay, this is going to be the moment where we see her really take some empathy or learn a lesson, but that is just simply not the case." Swarm also marks Childish Gambino's return to music, Donald Glover's alter ego, who produced an EP for the show. Curvy lends the vocals for Nyjah, which shows the extra-length Swarm integrates itself into our own reality. You can stream the EP on all music platforms and watch Swarm on Amazon Prime Video. That's all I have. Hashtag I'm Fiona Stevens. Back to you guys at the desk.
We're back with hashtag What in the World, and here to give us the rundown is Haley Wynn.
Thanks, guys. Let's jump right into our first story. 88-year-old comedian and artist Javier Lopez, who most referred to him as Chabelo, died on March 25, 2023, from abnormal complications. Chabelo played a big role in many Mexican and Latin TV shows, including the popular En Familia con Chabelo. His stable wardrobe of dressing in kids' clothes gave people the impression Chabelo would live forever. Many are mourning the loss of this award-winning icon, including the President of Mexico. Prince Harry appeared in London after a long time away. He had returned for the first time since the death of Queen Elizabeth back in September. His reason for coming to London being a hearing at High Court against Associated Newspapers Ltd. Along with Elton John and Sadie Frost, Prince Harry is suing over alleged phone tapping and other invasions of privacy. The case is expected to last 4 days, and a judge will decide if the case will go to trial. Prince Harry has informed his father, King Charles, and brother, Prince William, that he was in London but has no plans of seeing them. Eurovision, an international song contest fans go crazy about, is quickly approaching in May. It is a 3-day-long event where European countries enter an original song to be performed in front of judges. The excitement starts up now. In Barcelona, the stage is starting to shake with anticipation of the contest coming up. Pre-parties planned by fans are being held across many countries. In addition, the big stage in Liverpool has just finished construction. Overall, the contest is rapidly approaching, and fans can't wait to see who will take home this year's big prize. That's all I have for this week. It's hashtag What in the World. Back to you guys at the desk.
I wasn't lucky enough to get tickets to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, but luckily I was still able to get the inside scoop on her opening night performance. Let's take a look. Hey hashtag, it's Emma, and this week I'm talking all things Taylor Swift Eras Tour. Taylor Swift kicked off her tour in Glendale, Arizona with a 2-night stay on March 17th and 18th at State Farm Stadium with openers Paramore and Gale. To give some context, I'm from Arizona, so I took this opportunity to interview some of my friends who went to the concert the past few nights. What did you do to prepare for the concert?
We left 2.5 hours before the opener started because traffic was bad. And then we got there, and then I waited in line, and then I started my spot, and I was ready.
We all kind of just had like a little fun get-together before, but nothing really. I don't know, we just had to get the outfits was a process. We had our outfits picked out for like months.
So they turned Glendale into Swift City, so they say. What was this like, and how was the experience before the concert?
It was amazing. When I got into Arizona, like the highway had the sign that was like, if someone's annoying, like don't have bad blood, shake it off. Like it's so sick.
I think it was so fun to go to the first show, and like the Swift City thing was cool, like hello, like obviously. But I feel like there wasn't really that much hype about it. Like I felt like it wasn't happening until like 3 days before.
What was your favorite part of the concert?
Probably All Too Well 10-minute version, just because like of how loud everyone was singing.
We got This Is Me Trying and State of Grace, and State of Grace is like one of my like favorite songs ever, and I literally screamed so loud when she started playing it, but it was like insane. I was like, she literally played that for me.
I think my favorite part of the concert was she was doing the folklore set, and then she sings August, and then out of nowhere she sang Illicit Affairs, like the bridge for that song. That was so good.
In one word, how would you describe your Taylor Swift concert experience?
Heavenly.
Changing.
Impressive.
Did this concert live up to your expectations?
I didn't really have expectations going into it, but I did go the second night, so I kind of knew what she was doing a little bit, but I didn't really watch videos because I wanted to like see it all myself, and I literally only had to wait a day. But it was crazy, like all the effects and her voice and choreography, and it was like over 3 hours and there was not a single break.
Definitely. Definitely. It was so good. It almost like passed my expectations, which were already really high.
What do you think the rest of Taylor's tour holds for her?
I think it's just like everyone's just gonna have their own experience and everyone is just gonna like love every second of it, just like I did, even though it's not the first show. But I'm excited to see like the other acoustic songs that she's doing, because she's doing like different ones every show.
I know a lot of people were saying like they think she's gonna change this. Realistically, I feel like with her doing that much, I think that she'll stick to the set list.
With a 52-show tour, there's much more to come from Taylor Swift. I sat down with Quinnipiac student Casey Wiederhold to see what her expectations are when she sees her this May at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. How are you preparing for the concert?
My sisters and I have been talking about like what outfits we're gonna wear and like kind of deciding which era we're gonna dress from.
What are your expectations going into this concert?
Oh, I definitely have high expectations for Miss Swift because I saw like the Reputation tour on Netflix, because you know that's on there, and like the visuals and everything, they're so good. I loved it. I'm expecting a lot of that.
What part or song are you most looking forward to?
Definitely like Cardigan or Marjorie, because those are like my favorite songs right now.
As a big Taylor fan myself, it's incredible to see how far she's come and how much success she's reached in her career. Although I won't be attending any of the concerts, I cannot wait to keep up with the videos and pictures from her upcoming shows. That's all from me this week. Now we'll see you after this quick commercial break.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry, I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Back with the Hollywood news update, and here to fill us in on all the latest West Coast entertainment is Isabella Foley.
Thanks, guys. Jumping right into the first story, Gwyneth Paltrow has recently been on trial for a skiing lawsuit in 2019. She was sued by a man named Terry Sanderson that claims he suffered serious injuries as a result of Paltrow knocking him over on a beginner ski course in 2016 in Park City, Utah. Sanderson also claimed how Paltrow was skiing recklessly and did not call for help when he had been injured. The Deer Valley Resort staff allegedly blamed him for the incident in a filed report. The trial has been streamed live, so there is video footage all over social media, specifically focusing on an incident involving Taylor Swift. Sanderson's attorney, Kristen Vanderman, brought up how Swift asked for $1 in symbolic damages in another case, which Paltrow was seeking in this trial as well. The lawyer's intention seemed to be to catch Paltrow in a lie. However, she then went on to ask the actress if she was good friends with Taylor Swift, and this raised many questions on how relevant or sensible this entire trial is. Do you both think that there should be rules surrounding celebrity cases to avoid irrelevant questioning? Should cases like this be publicized at all on social media?
So, I mean, it's Hollywood. Once you're in that industry, you have no privacy, so everyone's going to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, in this case, I mean, it's not really... Not saying she should do stuff like that if it's true, but like this is something that happened 7 years ago. Like, do we really care that much about it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely an issue where we see a lot of like publicized trials when it comes to Hollywood, and I think a lot of the issues really aren't super relevant. I think we definitely have seen some relevant trials throughout Hollywood, but a lot of times we're focusing on things that aren't super important. Like you said, it's outdated and just really not. If it's a $1 trial, like it's not like the most thing that the country should really be focusing on.
The Taylor Swift trial that's going on right now, like that's a lot more serious right now. So I mean,
yeah.
Like, if it was me and you, they wouldn't care. But, Bella, what do you think?
I definitely think there are a lot more important trials and cases that should be recognized, especially on social media, and that celebrity cases probably aren't the most important ones right now. But moving on, at the recent The Power Amazon Prime Video series premiere, one of the stars, Ali'i Carvalho, who many people are familiar with from Moana, made a very bold statement by putting red lipstick all over her mouth in the shape of a handprint. This red carpet look was meant to represent all of the murdered and missing Indigenous women, as well as No More Stolen Sisters, which is a national human rights plan to end violence and discrimination against Indigenous women. Ali'i explains how the Power series focuses on female empowerment and how filming in Vancouver helped her to realize these issues for Indigenous people even more. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, she discusses, quote, "I didn't realize how often I acted or didn't act due to internalized fear of not being strong enough. And I think that the Power really does change everything. It's groundbreaking," end quote. Her statement at the red carpet and continued action by herself in the No More Stolen Sisters campaign does not go unnoticed. So Michael and Emma, do you think that Hollywood has created a space for Indigenous people's stories, specifically women? How do you think they could do this better and have moments like Ali'i's red carpet look not be a surprise but a norm to represent Indigenous people? Yeah, I definitely think that Hollywood is starting to pave the way. I think we are seeing a lot of new shows coming out, but specifically Reservation Dogs on Hulu. This is one of the first mainstream shows, and every director, writer, and main performers in the show are all people of Indigenous. And I think that we see this coming around a lot. We have this story focuses on 4 Indigenous teens going from Oklahoma to California, and I think we're starting to see more in Hollywood, but it's definitely still not enough.
Yeah, no, you definitely are getting more. Take Yellowstone, for instance. It may be half white, half Native American, but you really are diving into those issues and struggles that they had to go through. But yeah, we're still not where it needs to be. What do you think about?
I definitely think there's a lot of room for Hollywood to grow in this aspect, representing Indigenous people on screen. Shows like Yellowstone, Reservation Dogs, and Alaska Daily are definitely doing a good job at this, but there's a lot of room to grow. In other women in entertainment news, Florence Pugh and Molly Shannon star in the new film A Good Person that was released last week. The movie focuses on a young woman named Allison that has everything going for her and tragically loses her fiancé in an accident. She tries her best to pick up the pieces but ends up becoming addicted to drugs and struggles to maintain a relationship with her would-be father-in-law, while her mother does her best to support Allison and get her back to her old self. The film is a heartbreaking story about forgiveness and family. Pugh and Shannon discuss the emotional connection to their roles in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. Pugh states, quote, "They've had to be there for each other for a long time, and I had a few girlfriends growing up who had similar situations. Only had their mom or they knew their dad, but their dad didn't live nearby, and only grew up with mainly their mother as their parent figure. It was very similar, the hot and cold nature of the relationship because they only have each other, and they can't bear to lose each other," end quote. This film is very strongly centered on an intense mother-daughter relationship that isn't always represented so raw on screen. Do you both feel that this movie will make a difference in representation of addiction struggles and women relationships? How will this pave the way for other films of its kind for the future?
So this is definitely a step forward, or shedding more light on these issues. We've been seeing a lot more stories like this in recent years. Take Euphoria, for instance. It's about Rue and her going through this drug addiction, and her mom and girlfriend trying to help her. And no matter all the relapsing and all the lying, they're still trying to help her and be there for her. So similar with Indigenous people, we talked about before, women are starting to get more forefront in Hollywood and not being silent as much, but it still isn't quite where it needs to be in society.
I completely agree. I think that we've seen a lot more of it, especially looking at movies like Beautiful Boy. We see a focus on drug addiction between a father and son, which is a super different relationship than a mother and daughter, but I think
definitely.
It's still something that we're seeing come across more. And even movies like Lady Bird, for example, that focus specifically on mother-daughter relationships. But Bella, what do you think? I definitely think that, again, Hollywood is making strides in this area, and with such a heavy topic, I think that Florence Pugh and Molly Shannon are doing an amazing job representing this mother-daughter relationship on screen. Well, that's all I have for this week's Hollywood News Update. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well,
I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
I'm on Jules spot on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
This week, Michael and I will be playing Release Date Debate, where we'll be guessing which movie came out first. Let's get started. Okay, so the first
22
two
Jump Street.
are, oh my god. Okay, yeah, 22 Jump Street was way before
Yeah,
La
that
La
was
Land.
22 was 2014. La La Land, I want to say, was 16.
Yeah, I think it was 20.
Like I remember seeing it
either
in the
2016
theater.
or 2017.
You know, I remember seeing 22 Jump Street in the theater in 2014.
Yeah.
And then I may not have seen La La Land myself, but I mean I know it came out in 2016.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep, 22 Jump Street. Okay, perfect. Let's see what's next. Okay, we have Back to the Future and Breakfast Club. I want to say Breakfast Club was first.
I want to say it. Yeah, I want to say Breakfast Club.
I think Back to the Future was 85. I want to say.
Yeah, no.
And Breakfast Club, I want to say was like
83,
81.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not much older.
No, they're pretty similar, I think, but definitely close. Let's see. Yep, Breakfast Club.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Pitch Perfect versus The Dictator. Ooh, I want to say Pitch Perfect was first.
Yeah, no, I think Pitch Perfect came
because it was 2014 as well. Or 2012. Sorry, Pitch Perfect was 2012.
Oh wait. I forget if Dictator was 2011 or 2013.
I don't know. I know Pitch Perfect was 2012, and I want to say that one came first. Pitch Perfect is literally my favorite movie of all time. I can quote the whole thing. I absolutely love it.
The Dictator is super funny. Like Sacha Baron Cohen just doesn't care, and like
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, no, he's uncancelable.
Okay,
it was
The
Dictator.
Dictator. Okay, so we were wrong.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, 10 Things I Hate About You versus Step Brothers. Oh, I think Step Brothers was first. Because I know 10 Things I Hate About You is like based in the 90s, but I'm pretty sure it was early 2000s.
Yeah, no, I think Step Brothers
came out. And I think Step Brothers was definitely before. They're such good movies, though.
Yeah, no,
very different.
Good.
But I love Step Brothers. Definitely a family favorite of mine. And 10 Things I Hate About You. Oh, that was first. Okay. Cool. So we were wrong.
Moving on to this week's What to Watch. Ted Lasso is finally back with Season 3 now airing weekly on Apple TV. Despite the high praise so far, the series is also facing some controversy from Chelsea fans. Season 2 ended with Roy Kent and Keeley breaking up, and when it goes public in Season 3, the entire team responds poorly. When they get onto the field for the first game in Episode 2, there's a banner in the stadium reading, "They don't make them like Roy anymore." This is a reference to the real-life banner in the stadium, "They don't make them like Ray anymore," meant to honor the deceased Chelsea player Ray Wilkins back in 2018. Fans paid for the banner and found the altering of the wording very disrespectful to the death of the Chelsea player. Stadium owner Todd Bowley took to Twitter saying, "We are sorry it affected so many, and mostly we care about Ray and his family," end quote. He also added that the new ownership had nothing to do with this, and that the deal was struck in 2022 despite public outrage. Ross Wilkins, the son of Ray, doesn't seem to take offense at all, tweeting this. This is TV, and certainly nothing to do with their new regime," end quote.
This week on My What to Watch is a brand new Amazon Prime original, Daisy Jones and the Six. This TV show is based off the novel by author Taylor Jenkins Reid. The show covers the story of an up-and-coming band in Los Angeles during the 70s. The show is filmed in documentary style and follows the band's drama and journey through their first ever album and tour. The show is drama-packed and filled with excitement, but the best part of it all is the soundtrack. The actors are also musicians who put out an actual album that released with the show called Aurora. The music in the band's story is all inspired heavily by popular 70s band Fleetwood Mac, and most definitely does not disappoint.
That's all we have time for. That's all we have this week on #that.
Make sure to follow us on our social media accounts to stay up to date.
I'm Cat Swin.
And I'm Emma Dinnan. Thank you for watching #that from the producers, talent, and everyone working hard behind the scenes. We will see you again next week.